Welcome, CLAT aspirants. Today, we are going to discuss this India State of Forest report in the Current Affairs series by Career Launcher. So, without any further ado, let's get into the specifics of the report. This report is basically released by the Forest Survey of India that works under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. This report was first released back in the year 1987. This was the year where the first edition of the report was released, and this year, the 18th edition of the State of Forest report has been released. This was released by the Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Shri Bhupendra Yadav himself, at the Forest Research Institute, FRI, in Dehradun. Basically, this report is released every 2 years. So the last report would have come 2 years ago. Now, what this report basically tells us, this report is an in-depth assessment of country's forest and tree resources. They use several statistics like the inventory from National Forest Inventory. They use remote sensing and satellite data, and an in-depth assessment is prepared and then put into this report. So now let's just discuss the key highlights of the report. This report tells us that the total forest cover in India is around 7 lakh square kilometers and covers 21.76% of India's geographical area. Now, forest cover, as per the definition of forest given in the National Forest Policy, is an area that have a canopy density of 10% or more. That means the density of the tree cover is 10% or more. Then we term it as a forest. Secondly, there is this concept of tree cover. What is tree cover? Tree cover can be termed as those trees that are presented in desert areas but are not present that densely. The density is lesser than 10%. So that is our tree cover. Apart from that, we have the total green cover. The total green cover is the combination of total forest cover and the total tree cover. So if we add the forest cover and tree cover, we get the total green cover. The total green cover in India is 8,27,357 square kilometers, which is 25.17% of the country's geographical area. Since the last report, we have seen a net gain of 1,445 square kilometers. So this is the total increase in the forest cover in our country. Now, what is particularly a forest, as we last discussed in forest cover? So basically, as I've told you, that the report defines forest cover as an area that have a tree density of 10% or more. Please remember this stat, 10% or more of density is termed as forest cover. There was this very important policy released back in the year 1988 that has mandated, this is known as the National Forest Policy, and the National Forest Policy has mandated that at least 33% of India's total area should be covered under forest. But now we have managed to achieve 25% of the total area to be under the green cover. The National Forest Policy mandated 33%. Okay. Now, some other important stats that are mentioned in the report are the states that have reported the most forest fire incidents. So that would be Uttarakhand at the very first position, then Odisha, and then Chhattisgarh. I would recommend students to please remember at least the state that is in the first position. So Uttarakhand has been the state that has reported a maximum number of forest fire incidents in the past 2 years. Another important stat is telling us which state has shown a maximum increase in the forest and tree cover. So that would be Chhattisgarh. Note down, students, that I'm not telling you about the state that has most forest cover. I'm telling you about the state that has progressed the more in terms of forest cover. The state that has gained the most forest in the past 2 years. So it would be Chhattisgarh. It has shown the most increase. Apart from that, we have the states that have the largest area covered under forest and tree. So first one would be Madhya Pradesh. Second one is Arunachal Pradesh, and then there is Maharashtra. This question is specifically important for your CLAT examination, and it has been asked also several times before. Okay. Now, The next important point given in this report is regarding carbon sequestration and climate action. So we all know that forests act as a great carbon sink. They trap the carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere. And we also know that carbon dioxide is a very potent greenhouse gas. So this is also helping us. This increase in the forest cover, in green cover, has been also helping us to contribute to our Paris Agreement and nationally determined contribution, all of these goals that we have made as far as the climate change is concerned. India's carbon stock has reached 30.43 billion tons. Carbon stock refers to the amount of carbon dioxide that is stored by the forest. So carbon stock is the trapped carbon that is present there in the forests in India. Now, India has set a goal to have the additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion ton of additional carbon sink by 2030. India has already reached this target of 2.29 billion ton. So additional carbon sink of 2.29 billion ton has already been created, which was due in 2030. So it is a very good indication of India's climate action. Moving ahead, the report also gives us a very good highlight about the biodiversity. So it says that the Western Ghats, the area that is covered under Maharashtra, Goa, and Kerala region, the Western Ghats, they have recorded the highest biodiversity in the country. And then there are Himalayas, and after that Indo-Burma region. So Western Ghats and then Himalayas are our biodiversity hotspot, the region where we get the most amount of biodiversity in our country. Okay. So that was it with the report. I hope you all liked it. Kindly like, share, and subscribe, and also press the bell icon for more such videos. Thank you.